Hi everyone, welcome to the E-RYT Self-Care Summit for Working Mums. And I'm afraid this is the last talk of the summit, but thanks to everyone joining, listening and all the guest speakers. But tonight we've got a special guest, there's Vidya Ramanathan, and she is going to talk us through yoga for self-care for professional mums. So thank you very much for joining us, Vidya. And I'll let you take it away.
Sounds great, Debbie. Thank you so much for inviting me, and I'm very happy to join you today. So I want to introduce myself. I'm Vidya Ramanathan. I was born in India, but I'm now living in sunny Southern California in San Diego. And I'm really excited to be part of this talk today on how to use yoga to live in harmony with your life as a professional mom. As professional moms, we really have a lot of challenges in terms of time and balancing our lives that I want to touch upon today, and how to use the deeper practices of yoga to really get the maximum benefits from yoga. And this is really a very important topic for us women, especially as we strive to reach the levels of success that we are seeking in our professional, personal, and social environments. And my take on it is that it's going to become even more important in the future as the role of women continues to expand on the social influence scale. You know, I really wish that there was a talk like this when I was in corporate America. That would have been so useful and timely in my own life. And it would have also saved me many, many years of work that I put in order to bring myself to a state of balance and a new way of living. So what you're really getting today is all of the work that I did with working moms, and also within myself to really access that deeper space of quiet calm and harmony within myself and within my clients. Needless to say, you are in the right place and you're very lucky. So I'm extremely happy to be sharing with you some of these deepest insights. If you're attending this session, you already recognize at some level that there is a need for change in your life. And what I've come to realize through my own experience is that when we live an external reality that does not reflect who we are on the inside, it leads to a fundamental misalignment that has far-reaching consequences on our health and the quality of our lives. And what this really means from a woman's perspective is that everything we do must be aligned with who we are and what we came here to be, so that our feminine nature is feeling nurtured and not feeling challenged. So many of us women have been taught from an early age that our needs are secondary to supporting our families and our communities. And we don't always have the faith and trust to think or know differently. Over time, what happens is this misalignment between our inner and outer worlds that I'm speaking of has huge impacts on our health and well-being. I'm not by any means saying that family or community are not important. They for sure are the most important things that we're going to have in our life. But what I have learned the hard way is that when I don't focus on myself, it's really hard to be present for someone else, whether that's in my personal or my professional life. So when we come from a space of authenticity and internal alignment, we are even more suited to attract the abundance that we seek. What I'm here today to impress upon you is that your desires are super important. Your desires do not have to take a backseat. You have it fully in you to be the deliberate creator of your life. We have a lot to cover, so let's get started. So I want to tell you something. As a woman, you hold an incredible light within you. This light gives you the power to nurture and transform everything that you touch through your love. I want to take a moment to acknowledge this light within before we actually get started today. So I'm going to invite you to close your eyes. And as you close your eyes, visualize a steady flame of a candle in your heart center. And as you notice the steadiness of this flame, feel your breath in your body, gently moving this flame like the gentle whisper of love in your ears. Hold this light for a few more seconds and notice how you feel. And as we go through the rest of the talk today, keep anchoring back into this feeling, into this sensation that you have created. And bring this feeling, bring this sensation into how you're listening to the presentation today. Go ahead and open your eyes now. So who is this talk really for? It's really for professional moms who want to look radiant, feel absolutely gorgeous, and experience incredible energy levels. I'm really passionate about helping women because we are the center point of society. We are the agents of change, and not all of us realize this. I want to help the world realize how powerful each woman on the planet is. Before we dive in though, I want you to know something. I want to make two promises to you today. Everything I'm going to share with you today is going to be in the utmost service to you. You as the woman, you as the professional mom. My only desire today is for you to get great, helpful content that will truly inspire you to make yoga the foundation of your self-care regimen. I'm going to share some incredible information with you today. These are insights that I've used over and over again in my own life, as well as working with women clients to keep them on track. And I know they work. So I want to start off by telling you a little bit about myself. Who am I? Well, if I'm going to go with the external identity, I think you need to understand what my background is and where I come from. I've worn many, many hats in my life, and I've really lived a very full life. I'm 50 years old, and I feel so much passion for my life. I've been a highly successful yoga entrepreneur for over 12 years. I'm a certified yoga therapist, a yoga mindset coach, and also the founder of Awaken Yoga Therapeutics. I created a methodology for working with women called the True Resonance Method, which I employ in all my work with women clients who are professional, sometimes just single professionals. And I've had a lot of success, and I'm very grateful for it. My passion is really about inspiring professional moms to live incredibly powerful lives through the sacred synergy of movement and consciousness. What I found is that despite my education with 2 master's degrees, I felt completely unprepared for what life was bringing to me as a woman. It was not until I found yoga and the deeper practices of yoga that I really actually found myself. And yoga has changed how I view myself and how I view others. It has made me realize that we are all divine, and I'm passionate about bringing this into the world and sharing this with the world. So I worked with men, and this is a list that I compiled from asking them really in-depth questions on what are the challenges that they actually faced. And as I started compiling this list, it made total sense to me because I could relate to every one of these challenges as I was working in my professional corporate world, the corporate environment. So the challenges really are for moms to maintain their level of professional success while not compromising the quality of their motherhood and who they're being in the family. The second challenge that a lot of my women talked about is really staying connected to their femininity. It's a big deal because us women go outside and we have to do a lot of work on the outside as professionals, And at the same time, when we come back home, we have to wear our mother hats, our significant other hats, and we really have to be present within our families. A lot of the women on a more practical side were experiencing overwhelm and stress, and they were struggling with work-life balance. It was hard for them to prioritize self-care and experience optimal energy levels and mental clarity that they were desiring in their lives. The underlying patterns of these women were that they were fearful of their own lives. And I find that in my clients, the fear actually has the capacity to take over all of our desires and defocus us from what we actually want to do in our lives and also how we want to live our lives. So the fears that my women clients expressed to me were that they were losing connection with their loved ones because of the overwhelm and the anxiety and the busyness of everyday lives. And then they were also afraid of expressing their femininity in the workplace because they felt that it would turn on them and that they would get passed up in the man's world. And the last one, which is really very true in my own life, is that I was afraid that I could not be seen as a beautiful person and that I could not feel healthy in the long run because I was so run down from just giving and taking part in my professional life and just giving in the family. I felt completely depleted. So these were fears that I recognized in my women clients as well as myself. And so I started to examine what were the underlying beliefs that were leading to these patterns of behavior that were causing fears. And I turned to yoga to do a lot of this work. And the beliefs were really to give to myself is selfish when there are so many people who depend on me for their existence, for their survival, for their needs. And women by nature are givers. So they like to give a lot. And when we keep giving as women, we are not getting much back to fuel back our energies. The second belief system that I found in women was that it was inappropriate to express femininity in the workplace. It was seen as a weakness rather than as a strength. And lastly, time for self-care generally in my world meant less time for other priorities. And therefore, I would deprioritize my self-care when I was working in the corporate world. But beyond these basic belief systems, there was an underlying belief, which I uncovered in a very painful manner in myself, and some of my other women clients have gone through the same. And that belief was, I cannot have for myself. It was a scarcity mindset. And so what I found is that there was a vicious cycle of conflict between desire and beliefs. And this vicious cycle or this conflict in turn led to a feeling of just being stuck in life and inaction. My screen is a little stuck. Give me a second here. Should be able to move forward now. Great. So I started getting a little deeper and looking for some truth, some questions and some answers came up in that process that I want to share with you. The number one thing that I've noticed is most women get stuck and they don't know how to get out of this vicious cycle. So the question is, how do we get out of this vicious cycle? Many people will tell you, practice yoga, work out, eat better, and it'll help you fix all this. And that's not wrong. I say maybe, yes, that might work. But in order to truly see the benefit of your life or the benefit of yoga in your life, you're going to have to fix just one belief and replace it with another belief. And that is the belief that you deserve a miracle in your life. And so this is the work that has to be done to unwind our mental and emotional patterns in order to really come into a belief within ourselves that a miracle is necessary in our lives. It's important in our life to have connection to the experience of the miracles. How do we define miracles and how do we move to a state of living a miraculous life. That's what I'm about to share with you at this time. My screen is stuck again. Give me one moment. So there we go. So what is a miracle? A miracle is a change in perception. A miracle is a change in perception that occurs when we realize that we've been pushed to a point of no return. And at this point, we want something to change so bad in our lives that we say, let's invite something extraordinary to actually enter our lives. So we become willing agents of change within our lives, and we invite this change in our lives. And then something absolutely wonderful starts to happen when we start to look at our own perceptions of our life and realize that it's our perceptions that are stopping us from leading or living a miraculous life. So how can I start believing in a miracle? So we have all experienced, as moms, we have all experienced the feeling of miracle. The feeling of miracle is felt when the baby is inside of us. We felt it when we gave birth to the baby. And what happened is, after this, there was a disconnection to that feeling of miracle. What happened was that through and after that, we forgot that we actually deserved to have a miracle all the time in our lives. So the one conscious recognition we want to always carry is that we deserve a miraculous life. And without this one conscious belief or pattern changing, there is no real change. There's no possibility of a real change because we do not believe we deserve it. Therefore, it will not come into our life. So from this one shift in mindset, though, we can start to really live a miraculous life using yoga as a foundation. Why is it important to have this mind shift? Because what I find is that when we go into yoga with the mindset of, I don't have enough time, it's selfish of me, we create a conflict within us that is counterintuitive to our well-being. Everyone is going to tell you, practice yoga and it'll change your life. I don't disagree with this, but I will say this. Nothing is going to change your life except you. When you come into your yoga experience with this openness and humility, you will change your life through yoga. That's why it's so important to change your perception as you begin to consider the practice of yoga. I'm not telling you anything new here. This has existed in yoga philosophy all the time. I am acknowledging that the power of this is freeing, because so much of the Western practice of yoga has gone away from this fundamental philosophy and change that is so essential and intrinsic in yoga. With this mindset shift, we can automatically start to experience the deeper meaning of our yoga practices, and they run very, very deep. So now I'm going to get to what is yoga. Most people are going to tell you that yoga is a union of mind, body, spirit, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I say it's a lot simpler than that. It's really just about feeling peace and harmony inside and out. Mind, body, and spirit play a huge role in creating this harmony, and that's what I'm going to elaborate on right now. Why do mind, body, and spirit play such a big role? Mind becomes a conscious agent for change in yoga. So the real question is, how can we use the mind as a powerful agent of change without believing that we actually deserve that miracle in our life? We learn to use the physical body in yoga as the channel for graceful experience of beauty. How can the body become the graceful experience of beauty without us believing that we deserve a miracle in our lives? We allow our soul to come in as the ultimate expression of love. How can the soul be the ultimate expression of love if we do not believe that we deserve a miracle in our lives? Now we get to what Hatha Yoga can do for us. Hatha Yoga is generally used to refer to the physical practice of yoga, But in esoteric terms, it means so much more. The aspect of Hatha, the Ha aspect, represents the masculine or the solar principle, the right side of the body, the muscle tissue of our body. The Tha aspect represents the feminine or the lunar principle, the left side of the body, and the deeper tissue systems of the body, like the fascia, the connective tissue, the bones, ligaments, joints, and tendons. The term Hatha refers to the divine union of these two opposites. What it represents is a uniting of perspectives to create wholeness. And these are the opposite perspectives that come in together, the yin and the yang that come together. And we bring the masculine and feminine principles to a harmonious state within us, experience a sense of harmony and wholeness. How do we do this within the construct of Hatha Yoga? Hatha Yoga offers us a full body of practices, and I'm going through 6 of them. There's actually 8 of them, but I'm focusing on 6 of them in this presentation. The practice of physical postures known as asana really refers to a stable seat or a comfort in our physical bodies. Why is this important? Because it starts to take us into the realm of the subtler body, the subtler feelings and aspects of our body, the energetic body and the influence of the energetic body. In the West, there's a heavy focus on the physical body, but in the East, physical practice was used as an entry point into yoga. The idea was to create stillness within the body so it can be prepared for meditation. So then the next step comes in, which is really the access of breath and using breath as a way to enhance the flow of energy in the body, to guide the universal energy in the body. And this is known as pranayama. And pranayama leads to more stillness in the physical as well as in the energetic templates of our body, and encourages our senses to start going within. And this is known as withdrawal of senses within, pratyahara in yoga. And as the senses start to withdraw, we start to experience focused states of concentration and consciousness, which are more on the inward focus area rather than the outward focus area. And that leads to a steady flow of consciousness through meditation, which is a state of feeling pretty balanced at most points in our life. And when we start to experience this balance, we start to feel it more consistently in our lives. And when it becomes really consistent, we are set to come into perfect attunement or union with the divine consciousness. So yoga offers us beyond this physical practice, it offers us really a system of practices to get deeper into our spiritual aspects. There are 2 other constructs of templates which I integrate into my methodology in working with women that really taps into the full potential of transformation that is possible through yoga. I'm not going to elaborate these at a very detailed level for lack of time, but I am going to talk about them at a high level. The first is what is known as the kosha system. It's a metaphorical template of human existence. And if you actually look at this beautiful illustration on your screen, the one that you see all the way to the inside in pink, that is actually our physical body. It's our physical layer. And then we start to go outward from there. So you can imagine this layers of existence that exist for each and every one of us. The next layer beyond the physical layer is really the energy layer, the layer of movement of life force in our mind and body, known as the pranamaya kosha. And then we have on top of that, the mind layer, which is known as the manomaya kosha. This is a set of beliefs and Our rational mind resides here. So our beliefs, our perceptions, our patterns, all of this resides in what we call the mind layer. And then as we go past the mind layer, we come into what is called the higher intelligence, or the Vijnana Maya Kosha layer, which is the higher intelligence of how we function. And this functioning within yoga is not based on our mind body. It is actually focused on our connection to our heart and connection to our deeper beliefs or our deeper desires in life. And on top of this higher intelligence, as our consciousness starts to awake, there is this body of bliss and joy that starts to awaken. That's called the Anandamaya Kosha, which really comes in, brings us into this state of joy, peace, and all of those wonderful high vibration feelings that we want to actually come into in our lives. The second template that I like to use in working with my clients is more of an energetic template. You might have heard of what's called the chakra system. That's where this energetic template resides. There's really 7 major energy centers in the body, and they start at the base of the spine and progress through the body. An energetic template progressing into the creativity center, which is located at the navel, and then coming into the solar plexus as the powerhouse, the center of or powerhouse of will and desire, and then connectedness into the heart space. The heart is really the bridge between the 3 energy centers below it, which are considered the earth energy centers, and the energy centers above it, which are connected with the celestial aspects of our existence. And going into the throat area, we start to experience this freedom of expression and speech, which is guided by our hearts. So we really come into this open space in our hearts and start to connect up the earthly existence with the celestial existence. And as we progress to the brow point, the space between our eyebrows, we start to experience an opening or an awakening that comes in with a high intelligence, with a knowing in our hearts. So now the heart starts to act as a bridge for the divine energy to flow through the physical existence. I just love the chakra system and what it brings to the table in form of possibilities for us to work with. And I wanted to share that with you. What I've found in working with my clients is that integrating the system of mind-body practices that I just shared with you with the 2 templates creates a beautiful construct for freeing ourselves from our known behaviors and patterns of thinking. And this freedom starts to reflect in every moment of our existence. We start to drop our stress levels. We start to realize what's important in the grand scheme of things, and we're starting to prioritize those important things in our lives to occur. And the ultimate purpose of these practices and these templates in yoga is to really free us from the known and help us embrace a flow in our life. So what is the result of coming into a practice like this, which incorporates not only the system of yoga practices, but also some of the philosophical concepts? We come into a newly found joy, a sense of joy, a sense of confidence, and we exude grace, inner power, and beauty. None of this, though, the beauty of it is that none of this is derived from external sources. We begin to live it from an internal point of reference. What happens in the external world is not a relevant point in our ability to make our choices for our life. Yoga is who we become instead of us going to yoga to find something. And this change, this paradigm shift, is what we bring to our loved ones, our families, especially our children who look up to us to learn and grow, and even to our jobs. We start to be influencers in our jobs, and to everyone in our society. We start to be influencers in our society. And when we look back and look at our lives, we start to recognize that it was in all of those really difficult moments when we felt like giving up that the most important avenue for change was occurring. And we start to feel grateful for those experiences. I found that in working with my clients, this integrated system of practices creates a whole new paradigm to experience life at a level that is completely incomprehensible to the rational mind, to our mind body. And this whole new paradigm is getting connected. So moving from a space of disconnection to a space of total connection within ourselves and in our external worlds. Instead of using fear as the foundation for our action, we use courage as the foundation for our actions. We're not stuck anymore. We find creative solutions, creative opportunities to express ourselves. And instead of looking at life as something that needs to be perfect and go our way, we are willing to embrace our life with compassion and deep love for what it's bringing to us. And our light starts to shine so bright that everything around us just melts away. Everything else that is unlike that light just melts away. As we get to our finish line today, I want to impress upon you just one thing. You always have a choice. I hope you can hear that really, really clearly, because it is very important. You always have a choice. You never have to feel stuck in your life. So the question is, how do you choose? Do you choose to live your life fully with conscious attention on what matters most to you? Or do you choose to go through your life without connection to your desires? There's no wrong answer, but I am going to urge you to consider how you live your life every single moment that you are in this physical form, because it truly is a gift to be in this physical form. And I want to also offer to you that I've set aside some time in the next 48 hours to speak with you personally, to help you, to offer you the opportunity to work with me to create a personal strategy for your life as a professional mom. I'm offering this session absolutely free. There is absolutely no cost to doing this. And why am I doing this? I'm doing this because I care deeply about how you feel as a woman. I've been here before and I know how it feels to be stuck and not have the ability to take care of yourself. I have a profound calling to help women all over the world get unstuck and become authentic and own their space. Can you imagine what a beautiful place this world would be if each one of us women can find that space within ourselves? Yeah, that just gives me goosebumps to just think about that. And I know that you might want my help to achieve the transformation you're seeking. And if that's the case, we can certainly talk about it and see if it's a good mutual fit for both of us. If not, it'll give me great satisfaction knowing that you have maybe perhaps a little bit something more than you did than when you started the conversation with me. And who am I really offering this to? You must be highly motivated and committed to your own well-being. You must absolutely hold yourself to the highest standards of integrity. If that's you, I invite you to reach out to me to book your personal strategy session. Again, this session is absolutely free to you. And I want to give you a little bit of information here on how to reach me. My email address is on the screen. It's vidya@awakenyogatherapy.com. And I want to tell you, I get fairly busy. My day is very busy. I love everything I do, but I couldn't do it without taking care of myself. So spaces are very limited. And you have my email address. As we get ready to wrap this up, I want to let you know in closing, I tend to get three types of people. There are the people who want everything for free and want to feel warm and fuzzy that they're doing something for themselves, but actually they never take action on anything, and then they get stuck focusing on things outside of themselves. Then I get the people that don't want to spend the money, the ones who want everything for next to nothing and attend seminar after seminar, but they're too scared to pay the real price and get the real results that they're seeking, that they actually deserve. And then there are the real people who know it takes work, who realize that it takes a lot of investment emotionally, financially, in terms of time, but they also realize that if they had a step-by-step process to follow, practices to keep them on track, and someone in their corner, they'd be able to get the results a lot faster and not have to learn the slow, hard way of doing it all by themselves without the right support. I'm interested in only working with this third category of people who are fully committed to themselves. The truth is, I can't help you if you don't want to help yourself. If you have always known in your heart that you would always have a great life, and you just didn't have a vehicle to get to that great life, then you're the person I want to talk to, because I know you will be a big force of change in this world. If each one of us women starts to recognize that we are the change that we seek, we start to give ourselves, our families, and our societies a whole new foundation for respect and power, a whole new foundation for success that comes from our inner alignment. This is when we as a world community start to thrive and become more joyful, vibrant, and healthy. And I care very deeply about that. So whether you book a call or not, I hope that you got a lot of value from this talk. And I want you to know that I truly appreciate our time together. I wish you the very best in all that life has to offer. And I wish you all the success because you truly deserve it. As in yoga, I want to say namaste, which really means the light in me honors that light and space in you, where we are the same. We are together. And I'm open to questions at this point. Please type your questions if you do have them.